Mic check. Hear me? Online audience? Okay. Good evening to fellow Toastmasters and guests. It's lovely to see you all here, especially for students. We've been in busy week 14. Love to see Joshua, 𝐾𝐜𝐡, Daryl, 𝐶𝐻𝐿, all the students here today. First of all, before we start this meeting, I would like to state a few ground rules. For online audience, switching on your camera is highly encouraged to give support to our members. And please mute yourself while you're not speaking. Only unmute while you're speaking to avoid disruptions. For physical audience, mask off is allowed and highly encouraged to project your voice to everybody only when you're speaking on stage. So mask on while you're not. Last but not least, please enjoy the meeting and have fun. So before this, I would like to acknowledge a few guests today in our meeting. The first being, I'd like to welcome District 51 Area W2 Director-elect, Visionary Communication 5 Toastmaster Norman. Round of applause to. I'd like to welcome Presentation Mastery 3 Chloe Lau. Thanks for joining us as GE from Master Jaya Toastmaster Club. Welcome Idea from Uniraja Toastmaster. Welcome Amar, ex-president of Uniraja Toastmaster Club. Welcome. And also welcome Saifu from Malaysia Online Toastmaster Club. Welcome. Welcome Danish from Malacca Toastmaster Club. And if I ever miss out anyone, I apologize. Welcome all the guests, UM students, all the guests from non-UM. Welcome to this meeting. The theme for today is, what is success? As we're going to see how success drives satisfactions in a forum run by Toastmaster Kifa later on. Here I would like to give my own personal opinion. Well, I see success as something needed for our living. For me, there are two types of success. External success, where you get recognitions by, for example, getting first-class degree, being the best speaker for today's meeting, external success. Internal success, for example, getting up early in the morning, your own success. For example, understanding psychology, reading a psychology book for you. Which internal success is, it gives you motivations. External success, it might be hard. It gives you recognitions. For me, you need both to live happily, to live in this world. You need both types of success. As I was introduced by Toastmaster Kenneth about the model of being successful, the SMART model, I would love to explore that. I didn't know about that before. But I see them as equally important, and I will work very, very hard to achieve the success, to be successful. All right, I shall now call this meeting to order. So this meeting is called to order. Welcome our Toastmaster of the evening, Toastmaster Toastmaster 𝐸𝐿 joining online. Over to you, 𝐸𝐿.
Hi everyone. Hello to my fellow Toastmasters and fellow guests, and especially those Toastmasters who come all the way just to listen to our attend to this meeting. Thank you all for joining us. I'm 𝐸𝐿. First timer being a Toastmaster of evening. So I hope I can I hope the theme of the day, which is what is success, is in the short term, I will be a successful Toastmaster of the evening for today. So speaking of the theme of the meeting, I think I need to share the screen. Wait, hold on. Hold on. So, okay. Oh, sorry. Hold on. So welcome everyone. And what is the theme of today is what is success? And the word of the day is achieve. So I have taken a quote from William Shakespeare, which says that some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them. Which is quite interesting because eventually everyone will achieve the success and being great. So be it you're born great or you're not born great, or born with success or born with without any success at all, as long as we put work into it, we can be there. So meet Mr. Rafsi Smedley. So a quite brief introduction here about the founder of Toastmasters International. So just a quick review here. Where is he from? He's born in some town in Illinois in 1878. And he started working in YMCA in 1903, and that is the turning point of his life where he realized that there are a lot of young men who is not able to speak with confidence, not able to communicate well with other people, and he's thinking, okay, let's start with the first unofficial Toastmaster club on the very same year. However, it didn't turn out very well because he has to leave the place he has to be stationed elsewhere. I think it's in Freeport, but yeah, it's Freeport. So what he did is that when he ended up in other places like Freeport, he tried convincing other fellow businessmen to do so, participate and get involved in this communication training and so on and so on. It didn't work, but things start to change when he started working in YMCA chapter in California in 1924, and that is where he first founded the first Toastmaster club. So then what happened is that everyone's like, "Ooh, that is a very nice club right here," and everyone's like, I want to set up my own club in my own place because I realized that it's very good for very good for the community and people around them. So what he did is that instead of responding every single letter that asks for help, he just prepared a manual instruction and 10 lessons in public speaking and send it to them so that he don't need to repeat what he said over again. So in 1941, so he was the organization of Toastmasters, Toastmasters International has gone big enough. In fact, he was gone big enough that and the Toastmaster is able to hire him full time as a leader of Toastmasters International. So in short, he can just give up his job as a general secretary of YMCA in California, which is quite a big feat for him because during 1941, that was the starting of the war, if you know the history in 1940s. But that is considered, I would say, is one of his greatest success because what he started since inception, it didn't turn out well, but eventually it will become his club has become so successful that he is employed by the club itself. So, so how this meeting goes is that we have removed the table topic session because it will take more than 2 hours long if I do so. So what we do is we will look into prepared speeches. So the members were to present prepared speeches with specific objectives. and evaluation, where speakers receive constructive feedback on their speeches. So now I'd like to introduce the role players for this meeting. Okay, so let's start with our grammarian Adil Putra to introduce his role. The floor is yours, Adil Putra.
Muted. Cannot hear anything.
All right. Again. Good morning, fellow guests, fellow listeners. Sorry. Very good evening to the Toastmaster and fellow friends. I the Putra, as a grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers, listening carefully to their language usage. I will take note of any misuses of English language, as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. As grammarian, it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day, which is achieve. I would like to quote from what William Shakespeare said. Some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them. Each speaker is encouraged to use the word of the day. And lastly, I will give report. I will give a word of the day report and grammatical usage report and call upon during the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Adil Putra, for introducing his role as a grammarian. The next one is our counter, 𝐶𝐻. Your floor is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the evening. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Today, I am the 𝐴𝐿_COUNTER, and the purpose of 𝐴𝐿_COUNTER is to note words and sounds that use a crutch or pause fillers by anyone who speaks during the meeting. I will listen for overused words such as well, and, but, so, and you know. I will also listen for filler sounds, including and I will also note that when the speaker repeats a word or phrase such as I, or this means, at the end of the meeting, I will report the number of times that each speaker used these expressions. I hope everyone that comes to today's Toastmasters meeting can achieve their goal for today. That's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, 𝐶𝐻, for being an 𝐴𝐿_COUNTER today. I hope her report will not go down bad on me when she presents a report. The next one will be the timer. 𝐶𝐿, the floor is yours.
Okay.
Right, very good evening, Toastmasters, Toastmasters meeting. So the purpose of my role as a timer for this evening is to ensure that all the meeting's time is followed, and I will give the indicators to every speaker, evaluators, as well as work players, depending on the time which allocated. So I will be using this first time magical device I've never seen throughout my life as a Toastmasters to make sure that everyone knows what time that they are doing the speeches. So to give a heads up to all the speakers, the speeches, 3 of them are using 3 different time. So the first one is the icebreaker, which is 4 to 6 minutes. So the first minute, the green light will be on, and then the 5th minute, the amber light will be on, and the red, and the 6th minutes, the red light will be on, and 6 minutes, 30 seconds, and above it will be exceeding time. And for the moderator panel discussion, it will be 20 to 40 minutes. So I apologize, I'm not sure how the time is works. So I will
Think that, don't worry.
I will make sure that the terminal is available. So yeah, stay alert. And lastly, the research you're presenting is 5 to 7 minutes, which the 5 minute is green, 6 minutes amber, 7 minutes is red, and 7 minutes and 30 seconds is maximum time. And also we shall be giving my full report at the end of this meeting. So that's all for me. Next.
What is your name, by the way?
Amar.
Akmal. Thanks, Akmal, for being a timer for today. And lastly, the one who's going to judge the whole meeting, or evaluate the whole meeting itself, is Chloe Lau. So Chloe Lau, would you mind introducing yourself to us?
Yeah, hi everyone. Fellow Toastmaster and guests on the screen and also in the row. I'm Chloe, a member from Master Jaya Toastmaster Club. Okay, before I start introducing my role, I am the general evaluator, but not Josh. I'm not going to judge you.
So scary.
So as a general evaluator, I'll provide you with our feedback. It means from the moment, even before I step in this room, until the end of the meeting, I'll observe everything based on 2 golden questions. The first one, what have we done now? And the second, how can we be better to achieve a distinguished Toastmaster Club in this unit?
Wow.
And also later, I'll be leading the evaluation section that just now you saw it. Of course, I'm not doing it alone. We have a team of speech evaluators and also a team of technical evaluators. Why are they here? They are here to support all the members to achieve our goals to become an effective communicators and also a powerful public speaker. So at the end of the meeting, I will also present my special evaluator report. Back to you, Eugene.
Thank you so much, Chloe Lau, for being a general evaluator for this meeting. I hope and your feedback will be very valuable to us for future endeavors. Now it's time to drum roll, please. Prepare speech section. Welcome to the project speaker section. And today we're going to introduce the 3 speakers. The first one will be Daryl Ryan Chong's speech, which is Joshua and Iktifa Rafi. So there will be 3 speakers for today. So let's start with the first speaker for today, which is Daryl Ryan Chong, and he's going to make a first speech as a Toastmasters titled "The Road to MIT." I have to read out the purpose of this project verbatim, which is the purpose of this project is for the member to introduce himself to the club and learn the basic structure of a public speech. Daryl, are you on the stage right now?
Yes. Wow. Yeah.
Okay. Daryl, are you okay? Yeah, for this?
You are for this? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The floor is yours, Daryl Ryan Chong. The floor is yours.
Can I start my speech? So, a very good evening to everyone present. My name is Daryl Ryan Chong, but you can call me Daryl. So, I'll first start with a few basic facts about myself. I was born in Sabah, but I grew up here in Selangor, near the airport, 𝐾𝐜𝐴. And my parents are half Chinese and half Palestinian, so I'm actually 𝐒𝐶𝐞𝐜. Wow. So, next year, I'm going to finish my degree in 2022, January, and my biggest dream is to go to MIT next year, September 2023. So, before I explain why I want to do this, let me first introduce the 2 main reasons why I joined Toastmasters. So, the first reason why I joined Toastmasters is because I believe that communicating ideas is an important skill especially for me, since I want to become a physicist. So, as a physicist, I have to be able to communicate my results, not to just scientists, but also to normal people. So I want to be able to capture their attention from start to the end of the speeches. And the second reason why I joined Toastmasters is because of my dad. So he's actually a Toastmasters member, and I've seen him give a lot of speeches. And the most recent one I've seen him give was a speech at my cousin's wedding last month. And I was impressed because it was sort of an impromptu speech, and then he was quite humorous in it. And then I aspire to be like that, to be able to incorporate those kind of speeches. So now on to the main body of my speech. So when I was a little kid, I was a very shy kid. So I would never go up to someone and say to them, hi, what's your name? Something like that. I would always wait for them to come to me and I would, be friends with them. But I realized I was shy at the time, and that I had this mindset of continuous self-improvement because I knew that I wanted to do something beneficial for society with science and culture. But even though I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, I thought that continuously improving myself was the best thing to do. So what did I do to improve my self-confidence? I joined my school debate club, even though I was a terrible speaker. So to illustrate just how bad I was giving a speech presenting my debating points, and then the speech was supposed to be 7 minutes, but I only spoke for 5 minutes. And instead of sitting down, I actually stood up for a whole 2 minutes in complete silence. So that was probably the most awkward 2 minutes of my life, but I think it was an event that was necessary for me to go through in order to become a better speaker. And one fact about myself is that I actually like singing, and even though I was a bad singer last time, this mindset of continuous self-improvement helped me reach the point where I am today, where I'm happy with the way I sound. So to give you an example, I can sing Empty Space by James Blunt. I'm alone in my head, looking for love, just bed. I don't think I'll find it, 'cause only you could fill this empty space. I'm finally reaching the point where I'm able to reap the benefits of my past actions. And the two biggest accomplishments that I achieved in the past year was that I managed to publish a research paper with my professor, and then I presented the results of the research paper in an undergraduate project conference, and I managed to win the first place for the best theoretical project for that conference. So this leads me to why I want to join MIT, because I believe it's the best place for me to learn how to grow as a person and also as a scientist, so that I can achieve my goals of using science to help society. So with that, I would like to thank everyone for your attention, and I look forward to getting to know each and every one of you in this class. My name is Daryl, and this was the road to MIT. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Daryl, for making. Oh, sorry. Let's give Daryl a standing ovation for completing his first speech. I'm standing right now.
I wish we could. Only first speech.
Congratulations, Daryl, for making your first speech. And I forgot to introduce everyone that Daryl is a third-year physics student, and he said that he's due to he wants to get into MIT by next year. I wish him all the best in his future endeavors, and he will be, hopefully he will win the Nobel Prize in Physics in the future. I hope so. I really hope for the best for him. The next speaker is, allow me to share the screen, is, wait, hold on. I'm not used to it, forgive me. Okay, the next speaker is Joshua. is he's going to complete the level 1 project, which is titled Researching and Presenting, with a topic title of Old and Paralysed. So the purpose of the speech is as follows. The purpose of this project is for the member to learn or review basic research methods and present a well-organized, well-researched speech on any topic. Joshua, are you on the stage right now?
Yes, now I am. Let me share my screen.
Sure, no problem. I will stop sharing now.
Oh, I'm paralyzed. Only 4 slides. How come I cannot see the slideshow?
Let me know if you're ready, yeah?
You need to enable editing first. And then you try sharing again. Yep. Share my screen. Share screen.
Okay, I am ready.
Joshua, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster of Evening. Ladies and gentlemen, today I would like to share with you a story about my grandmother. My grandmother is in her 80s. She is a bit plump. She looks like a strong woman, funny at times and annoying at times as well. But there's one thing about her that I find fascinating is that she has a condition called dementia. Now you might ask me, what is dementia? Allow me to introduce you to dementia, which is the loss of cognitive function, such as our thinking, our remembering, as well as our reasoning skills. And this can also interfere with our daily activities as well. Moreover, dementia can also cause people to lose control of their emotions, and their personalities may change as well. Another thing to note is that dementia is not a normal part of aging. If we compare with normal part of aging, we occasionally forget things such as, oh, I forget to bring my phone. But dementia is, oh, I forget to bring my phone. And when I check, oh, I have my phone. And once they walk a little bit, they'll start asking themselves, did I forget to bring my phone? And I check, oh, I have my phone. So it's something like that. Do you guys understand? Great. Moving on is the signs and symptoms, which I can relate with my grandmother about dementia. The first thing is experiencing memory loss, poor judgment, and confusion. As I presented just now, it's a kind of memory loss, but for my grandmother, well, she likes to ask me repeated questions, repeated same questions, in fact. Every time when I sit down with my grandmother, I don't know why is it always just the two of us when I'm sitting next to her, but she'll ask me this question, are you studying or are you working already? Grandma, I'm actually still studying, I haven't worked yet. And she says, oh, okay, good, study is good, so that in the future you'll get a higher position. 3 seconds later, are you still studying or are you still working? I tell her, I'm still studying, Grandma. Didn't you ask me the same question again? And then she said, oh, good, studying is good. And she just kept repeating until I feel irritated with her questions. So that is one of the memory loss experience. The second thing is hallucinations or experiencing delusions, which is related with confusions. My grandmother, sometimes she has hallucinations of seeing her own sons and daughter, which is my mother, as her own sisters and brothers. So every time when she sees them, she feels like, oh, I have to follow their orders. I have to follow what they do. And they tell me to, okay, go and wash your hands right now. I have to go and wash my hands. So she listens obediently to my brothers and sisters. But in actual fact, she's just confused. She sees them as her brothers and sisters, which are already deceased. So that's one of the symptoms, hallucinations. Thirdly is wandering and getting lost in a familiar neighborhood. There was that one time, my grandmother, she got lost in a town nearby her house as she was about to get food. And even though she did most of the time, but because of dementia, she gets lost in areas that she's familiar with. Thankfully, my uncle was right there to bring her back, or else we will have to post missing posters everywhere and people say, oh, where's this person? Where should we find her? So that is the 3 signs that I can relate with my grandmother. Now, what are the causes of dementia? The first thing, obviously, is age. As we grow old, our brain cells will slowly degenerate if we don't use it often. And this would also cause dementia. Secondly is family genes. You know how we always blame on our genes because of certain characteristics of ourselves, right? Thirdly is the traumatic head injury. When we accidentally hit our own head, we can also cause brain damage to ourselves, and that lead to dementia. So recently, my grandmother accidentally fell down in the toilet, but luckily she is she's safe, she's still okay. But the problem is right now, half of her body is paralyzed because she's paralyzed at the right side, so meaning that the left brain suffers the damage. And this condition of having half your body paralyzed is called hemiplegia, which is caused by brain damage, or sometimes can also be caused by spinal cord injury. Some symptoms that we can notice are things such as weakness, problems with muscle control, and muscle stiffness. I remember visiting my paralyzed grandmother in an elderly caring home for twice. The first time when I visited her and I saw her in that condition, it was kind of sad because she also had this kind of expression like she's confused. She's unsure what's going on, what's happening around me. You know, having dementia, you're already confused, and now you're already paralyzed and you're even more confused, and it's like the end of the world already. And she even starts shouting screaming and shouting in periodically. In the evening, she'll start shouting. In the morning, she'll tend to be much more quiet. Thankfully, the right side of her body is still able to move. She's able to move her hands, she's able to move her legs, and the same movement I keep seeing is her pulling her pants like this. But my mother will always tell her to, hey, put your leg down, stop trying to stop trying to pull your pants. And the second time when I visited my grandmother, they straight away tie up her hands like this so that she doesn't move around, and they tie up her leg like this so she doesn't move at all. And now she's stuck onto it. And one more thing I noticed about a paralyzed side is that even when you touch it, when I raise up hands, she has no reaction towards it. And her fingers, it was quite stiff. I tried to do my own physiotherapy, although I'm not qualified to be a physiotherapist. I tried to help her massage her hands to try to straighten it. But it's still very stiff, and I'm afraid that if I apply too much of pressure, it might hurt her even more. That was during the first day. The second time when I went to visit her, they actually let a acupuncture. They did acupuncture on my grandmother to allow the blood to flow much more easily. And thus the next day when I see her, her hands were much more better previously. So to summarize, here are the key takeaways. I've introduced you to dementia, which is the loss of cognitive functions. Secondly is hemiplegia, which is the paralysis on one side of the body due to brain damage. And one thing you should know is that if you do notice your grandparents or maybe even yourself having this kind of problems, please seek medical attention and get early treatment. And one more important thing is lead a healthy lifestyle. Take care of your own diet, take care of your sleep, get enough sleep, and also try to engage with others to keep your brain active. And that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Joshua, for completing his project speech, which is researching and presenting. Now, let's call this a break. And before that, we start having a break. Should we have a photo session, perhaps?
Yes.
Sure.
Yay.
Okay.
Hello,
For-
Sharon.
For physical audience, right? You guys can come here and have a photo session. For online audience, please have your camera switched on so that we can take photos together.
The
Hola.
meeting should resume at 8:45.
Yeah.
Forgot to mention. Sorry.
4 minutes on physical no way. They're going to chit chat. They're going to makan everything. They forgot us online.
Try to fit yourself.
It's not a culture here, I'm afraid, Saifu.
I've been there lah.
No makan.
Because I'm 100% virtual, I still somehow okay with that lah.
Yeah, same to me lah. I'm a virtual already. I've been
Student
there.
life is fast-paced life. No one can slow down. That's why no choice.
They will just ignore us lah for the past 3 minutes.
No problem, no problem. Itifa, I was in the impression that I'm going to be a evaluator. Though. I'm not prepared.
No, panelist.
I forgot I'm the panelist. I say, man. When I saw the question that you're giving me, ayo, this is not a normal panelist punya question, no. Maybe to Sharon lah.
Never mind. I will modify for you. Don't worry.
Don't worry. You still get an answer from me. I don't know whether it's correct or not. That's all.
There's no right or wrong answers.
Yep.
I need someone from Zoom to help me take photo. Saifu, you ever to do that? Take photo.
Take picture lah.
How to take photos here?
Print screen.
Print screen.
Hey, Minkang, your face is blocking 75% of camera. You know that?
Or maybe Saifu, you wanna do this?
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
Okay.
So, in the count of 3, 2, 1, smile.
One more time. Your physical look at my phone.
Oh, like that nah.
Okay. You may ready.
Hey, hold on. I need to save one more. Okay.
Can think about this already. Look at that.
Wow, can see that. Wow. Shihan is on the bus.
Should I submit?
Yeah. Shihan, you're on the bus. Okay, no wonder I saw the bus there.
Yeah, on the train.
On the train, okay.
You okay?
Wait, one more time. 3, 2, 1, smile. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Wow. Yay, I managed to saw Sean, the handsome face.
Ada.
Ada lah, handsome lah. Kalau je tak handsome, je tak kahwin no. Nobody want you.
Betul.
Do we want to have a panel session on that topic? Handsome guys get married or the other way around?
No, you see like Iktifa, tak handsome, that's why not married until now.
John.
What a statement.
Burn.
If I'm working in Hospital Cyberjaya, is it?
No lah, it's lab lah.
Sunway.
Oh, Sunway. I can see they have the one that those things. I think it's something you call the pneumatic port, right? You put everything very fast, it goes up. Yeah.
Yep. Sunway medical or Sunway lab? Iktifa now. Sunway medical lah. Okay lah.
Yeah, it's like I don't know why Malacca don't want to have this. You just put in the medicine on the specimen, it goes up the tube really fast.
That is expensive because I installed that system years ago though. It was I think year 1998 is one of the hospital that at that time it already cost about 5 million.
It's not cheap. It's very expensive.
Very
You
expensive.
need to have own pathway for all the tubes to go.
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen it before. Normally they will use a stairwell to do the tube linkage, all that, because I have so much tubes linking around the hospital. Very too messy.
Most of it because
The
mostly is that
UPM Serdang
yep.
has this system, but it's not being used.
May I know if the break is over? What time is the break?
Oh, sorry, the break is over.
85, you want to know? You want to know the truth? The UPM system, I was involved with it, and they are damn stupid.
I'm afraid the intermission is over.
Okay.
I'm going to resume the meeting.
I will resume.
Okay. Fellow Toastmasters, meeting.
So the moment we are waiting for is over. So the third speaker for today, the last speaker for today's meeting is Iktifa Rafi, and he's going to be a moderator of a panel session. And the panel session's title is Does Success Bring Satisfaction? Before we start, I'd like to read out the purpose of this project, which is for the members to apply his or her skills as a public speaker and leader to facilitate a panel discussion. Iktifa Rafi, are you on the stage right now? I'm not sure how it works right now. Yeah, so since all the panelists and the moderator are present, so the floor are yours, Iktifa and fellow panelists. Thank you for coming aboard.
Thank you, Toastmasters. Good evening for introducing me for tonight's panel. So good evening, everyone. Good evening, dear speakers, friends, Toastmasters, and guests. Tonight we have two panelists. Number one, which is Sharon 𝐾𝐶. She is a biotechnologist turned counselor. She is often worked closely with Awam and also on educating women on human rights and their rights. The second speaker we have for tonight is Saiful Ikram, who is not a stranger to us. We all know who is Saiful. And he is the president of Malaysian Online Toastmasters and often do speeches on various platforms such as Toastmasters and also Kepentas. So welcome, dear panelists. I hope you are fine tonight. So as you know, tonight's topic is do success bring satisfaction? Sorry for that. So what is success? Success is by its own is to get an achievement such as, like, for example, get 10 A's in SPM, get married, finish a project, speech and all that. And satisfaction is something that we feel fulfillment with. We get some closure or like some high from our success. So without further ado, I'd like to start with 𝐾𝐶, Ms. 𝐾𝐶. What do you think success is actually all about?
Success is normally, I would say, success is actually measured by others. When we think about success, we feel that having 10 A's in SPM is a success because that's what the public measures. So oftentimes success is not something very, self-evaluated, but it's pretty much of, where do I stand in what others measure as someone, being successful. So if you have to have a big house and a car, you're successful financially. If you have a marital partner and kids, you're successful in your personal life. So this is how most people tend to define their success, because this is what the society teaches us. So when we talk about success, also one of the main things that the question is this success that you carry for yourself, it's something you are defining for yourself, or is it something the society is defining for you?
All right, thank you, Madam 𝐾𝐶, for the answer. So, Mr. Saiful, do you agree that gauge of success is by others, not by yourself?
In my humble opinion, success by others mean by people are looking at you and really portray you as success or not. It's just a fake success. A real success for me, if you are able to smile and feel satisfied on any task that you've done. So this is very simple. Meanings, for example, you manage to do pathway Toastmaster. You finish up the level 5 Toastmaster and you smile and you feel satisfied. And that is a success. Because if you keep on acquiring other people recognition on your success. It's just a fake, it's just what you say, it's a fake thing lah. As simple as that. You are, because you still need people to acknowledge you. A real successful people doesn't need that. People who are satisfied with their job, but that doesn't matter how little it is, how small it is, but this is satisfied, and that for me is a real success.
All right. Okay, continue with you, Encik Saiful. Just want to ask something that you say that success, the real success is being happy with oneself and complete sense of achievement for oneself. All right. So, like for example, how big does that achievement should be, or how small it should be?
I live in a very simple principle, very simple. For me, if I can sleep well at night, I can eat well, meaning I full my feel, and on top of that, if I can go well in the toilet, that is already considered a success in life. Why?
Okay.
Sometimes because problem is right now, we are wanting the thing that is by others. You see people have a big car, you want a bigger car. You see a house, okay, this house is very, or condo, 6,000, 3,000 square feet, or it's very nice with swimming pool, everything. You want that. And that is actually what you want. That's why I say that's a different. Self-satisfaction and others is two different things. Success by recognition and success by on yourself is really the one who make you. And of course, if you're talking about people recognition, at the end of the day, you won't find success in your life.
I see.
Back to you.
All right, thank you for that. Okay, so Ms. Keshri, can I ask, can I be happy while being successful? Or should I be more happy when I'm satisfied?
See, the thing with most commonly generally when people use the word success, they tend to often refer what the society calls as a success, like a good exam score, good financial standing, family life, whatever that is. Satisfaction is something very personal, like what Mr. Saiful said, right? So for him, success is when he is satisfied. So that's the reason when we come back to the question, when you are defining your success, is it based on what others are telling or with yourself? So if it's within yourself, you are going to be satisfied with the success. When you can be satisfied with whatever you achieve, that is an internalized success. Now, the problem is with many people is that they're not satisfied because it's not what they are looking at. They often put for the validation, recognition from external factors, society, parents, peers, and they start comparing with others. So if the bottom line is which is more important, success or satisfaction, I would say satisfaction. Because satisfaction is already the foundation of success. If you're satisfied with your life, even if your earning is 2,000 ringgit or 10,000 ringgit, you are successful with whatever that you're earning, for example, right? So I have come across people who are really satisfied and successful with a 5,000 ringgit earning, and I have come across people who are feeling unsuccessful even when they're earning 20,000 ringgit a month.
Okay, just a follow-up question on that. Since you are saying that success, satisfactory and success is two different things, and success is always gauged by KPI, by outsiders and everything, right? But that's not how, isn't that how our society works? Let's say, for example, Toastmasters, we have to achieve DCP points to get ranking and to have certain members so that we can get our rankings high. And also like for our own personal work, we have to get our KPIs done, then we will get our bonus. If we don't get our KPIs, then we will not get our bonus. So what do you think about that?
There is a reason why we are having the increasing cases of mental health issues worldwide. This is the reason, because people, when you reach a certain level, you feel this is not enough. I need to go further. If I look back at our parents' generations, right? A school teacher, they are a school teacher, they buy a simple house, they work until their retirement. They don't even, some of them, it's not even bothered to climb the ladder to become, a headmaster or headmistress, and they're satisfied, But here we can have a lot of things, but we always feel we need to go higher and higher and higher, which is good. If you're still able to sleep every night and being peaceful of it at each level, when you reach level 1 to level 2 to level, if at every level you feel that you are successful and you are satisfied, that's good. But if you reach level 2 and you feel like, oh, I'm not good enough because there are other people at level 3, And then now you're like level 5. If you feel like, oh, I'm still not good enough because others are level 6, then you're never going to be satisfied, even though you are reaching the ladders of success. That is a key point. It's being able to look at something, whatever that you do. It could be something as simple as writing a poem. It could be binge watching a series in a matter of a week. It could be reading a very thick novel from starting to finish, because you could be somebody who stops halfway because the novel is too thick, right? So it's either that. It could be something of getting a salary increment. It could be taking your parents for a vacation. Success can be anything if you're putting your mind and you're perceiving it that way. If you don't perceive it as something as a successful, even getting a big house and thing, let's say you're successful in the career, let's say career-wise is good, house is good, you are not having kids. You're still going to feel your life is unsuccessful because you're not fulfilling everything. So if you want to feel unhappy, we can find 1,000 reasons. And if you want to be happy, we can even find it in the simple things of being successful to make your coffee in the morning while you're running to work, you know? So that is what success is.
Okay, so Mr. Saiful, how about your input on this?
People, what happened is right now I think there's one question in the chat box talking about people are being mediocre because they're satisfied what they are, what their level. You do not, actually, there's two things. Being satisfied with ourselves and drive is two different things. Some people just have drive. Some people like to have challenges in their life. And there cannot feel statement. For example, for myself, at one point of my life, I was a scuba diver. I was scuba diving all over the country, looking for something and come up to certain level. Up to certain point, when I stagnant, then I start challenging myself to another thing. Start doing other things, because for me, I already started at that point. I already feel I'm success. I already advanced diver. I already conquer the depth of 40 meters and those kind of stuff. Then after that, the drive of living actually make people want to go forward, and those are actually, it's part of it. The problem is when you actually misled between drive and success. People who have too much drive in their life, they feel inadequate and the success. And because of that, they're not satisfied. And that can create depression, especially when they look the world from the other people point of view. When you look the world from people point of view, that is the problem. A simple success, like saying, being a panelist here. This is the first time I'm being a panelist in Toastmaster. I moderate quite a few discussion before, inside and outside Toastmaster. And this is for me, although I'm quite shaky doing it, especially looking at Sharon, so eloquent and so able speaking. And of course, I don't care about Itifa lah, but about Sharon lah. So sometimes we feel afraid about that. But this is another stepping stone to do it. If I do it well, then I feel okay. If not, it's okay. Able to really absorb, knowing what you have. That's important. Knowing what you have and what you have succeed, that determine your success. But not wanting other people's success. One thing is the one thing. That's why called drive, and those kind of satisfaction. Don't mix it up. People can have a lot of drive, but they can very satisfied with their life. Or people can have lack of drive, but unsatisfied with their life. Those are different. Kind of contradict on that part.
All right. So, Ms. Sharon, let's say I want to ask, how do you not let success or satisfaction becomes an obstacle for further progress?
Okay.
First of all,
Sharon,
success is always something that is temporary, you know, because what you're satisfied today, even satisfaction sometimes can be temporary, right? So I always see that, you know, if you're satisfied with something, everything that you're satisfied is a success, but not everything that you are succeeding may necessarily be satisfactory. So that's the point here. Okay, so how do you really stop that? It's first of all is success itself is something that's temporary. Getting 10A in SPM is only for now. Few years, then it comes to degree, right? So in work right now, you're earning at a certain position is okay, happy for you. Maybe now putting in 10 hours at work is fine, but that won't be there for you 10 years from now. right? So remembering that whatever you define as success is temporary. And second, understanding that where did you come from and where do you want to go? Because life is a journey. You just can't stop halfway, right? So you have to look back. What if you've come a long way? Another thing also I always remind people here is, class and privilege. It actually gives us added advantage in life. If your parents have a lot of money, you can very well continue straight in PhD at a top university. But you might be a good student, but if you can't have enough money, you can't even go overseas to study. Or you may not even be able to continue masters without working first, right? So you have to look from where that you have come. Where did you start? Whether it's in a socio-economic perspective, whether it's, if you're a student with, learning disabilities, autism, ADHD, then for you to come to learning is difficult. Where you have come from and where are you leading? If you remember that you are in a progress in life, it's a journey, you would never end up just being stuck and stagnant. And again, human nature, if a lot of people, I read here, they say, someone said, to play the devil's advocate to Mr. Saiful's point, if everyone is content with this kind of success, wouldn't society progress stagnant? No, society would not be stagnant because human nature is greed, all right? The moment you have a Proton car, you want Honda, next you want an Audi. Women, when you have a Bonia handbag, then you want Coach, and then you want Louis Vuitton. And if it's not enough, you want Hermes, all right? We would always be wanting. If someone is really be stagnant, there's only two things. Either this person have really reached a high ability of being content with life, that they're already successful in that, or they start to have a lot of stress that they're giving up in life. Stagnant normally comes one of these. Either they're fully content or they're giving up on life. Otherwise, human nature, we would always, even food, right? Today we have something, tomorrow we want to try something else. You have more money, you go more exclusive restaurant. I'm a foodie, so I comment on food. So life is a journey. So if they remember life is a journey, success or satisfaction is not going to become an obstacle. Because if you feel good with the success, you want to experience that again to feel good again. That's the basic human nature there.
Now, since we're talking about stagnation and also success, right? How about if there's some people refuses to move or refuses to proceed further just because they are already like, oh, I can't do anything, I can't improve myself anymore. So I might as well just do whatever I'm doing now and be done with it.
Is that something wrong? Is there something wrong with that? If they are happy with it, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yep, I have to agree with Sharon that because in this situation, you put the main problem here when society or people, you put your view on others. You put your opinion on it, you force yourself, say, this guy is just driving a 𝐴𝐿, or he not be satisfied in his life. He should drive let's say a Honda. But for him, the 𝐴𝐿 is the heaven because easy to park, oil base, gas consumption is low, and low maintenance, no loan. That maybe up for him is already satisfaction. When you force your view on others, that is when you have problem, when you get frustrated. For example, you have a colleague, or maybe somebody already stuck there at that level, and you want to push him further because you know, in your opinion, that he or she have potential, so you want to push it further. This is my own experience. I had that kind of problem before with my children. They're already satisfied with their life. Or they have their game, they have everything, and they don't know what to do. And for them, that's already there. They achieve what they want. They win a few competition, everything. By giving them a different environment with different challenges, it will change their perspective. Because in human being, our perspective, we are born like kind of like tunnel vision. What we can see is what in front of us. Once you will be able to shift their view, they will see a bigger picture. And that's what happened. This is what I do with my children. And I also advise some of my friends like that. That's why some of them changing career at 45, just to feel alive again. Because they're stuck to there, round, like a rat in the rat race, everything. So you see that though, that's up to them. But do not force your view, or do not force yourself, because sometimes people just happy to be there. People just happy. Because for me, like me, I'm happy with my canary. I don't care. I got my Nissan. I got my MPV. I love my Canary. Easy to park. Get back to you, Itifa.
All right. Thanks, Saiful. So just now we're talking about stagnation of people. But then how do you like promote or like support people who want to go far and beyond? Anyone can start the answer?
Okay. For far and beyond, this is what I share my view, and this is my view also in life. You must have one ultimate goal. The ultimate goal must be specific. If you have that kind of ultimate goal, then it must be big enough, then people will start to improve. For example, people say, I want to be rich. The question is, how much? I want to have a big car. What car? And those are quite ambiguous target. When you have ambiguous target, you don't know what's the direction to be. For myself, my target is to cycle around the world, visit every Toastmaster club in the world. That's my target. And how to do that? Must have my income, I must have my health, I must able to my family done that. And that is how I shift it. And I have advised a few of my friends. Some of them businessmen, some of them are career men, career women, everything. Just have a big goal that's big enough to be achieved, not easy, and must be specific. By doing that, they will start looking for a way, because human being like challenges. Human being want to go somewhere, what to get. By doing that, then the drive and the satisfaction come along. That's my way to do it. I don't know about others. And how about you, Sharon?
Okay. I just shared in one quote, actually. I shared in two quotes in the chat. One is by Benjamin Franklin, which said, without continual growth and progress, such words as improvement, achievement, and success have no meaning. Okay. And another is my favorite quote, which I've been holding on for like years, all right, which is, I am in competition with no one. I run my own race. I have no desire to play the game of being better than anyone. I just aim to improve, to be better than I was before. That's me, and I'm free. So if you're looking at yourself as improvement, if you're going, your drive towards success is better than what you, if last year I earned X amount of money, let's say last year I earned 4,000, that was my salary. So this year I aim to improve from that. Then you would be happy and you will be able to continuously progress. But if you're looking at last year I earned 4,000, then you look at your friend who is maybe earning 14,000 and you're like, oh my God, how am I to reach there? You're not going to be that happy. So again, when somebody says they want to push to themselves, I always tell them, okay, who are you being in competition with when you want to see your success? When you're measuring your success? Is it with your sibling, your cousin, your friend, your friend from the school, or is it with yourself and what you want for yourself? Because if your progress of success, it's towards improving and, it's in like almost in competition with your own self, it is okay. But if you're with others, there is a risk of feeling not enough, even when you are good enough, because there would always be someone is better. All right. If some of you, if you can reach, there is this journal article called Attaining Satisfaction. It's from the Journal of Consumer Research. So, what they have done there is a lot of people, when they reach certain level of success, they forgot their initial goal. And for example, if I were to, they'll forget their initial goal, what they set for themselves, and they start comparing with the highest achiever. Example, maybe your aim is just to pass in your mathematics. But after you passed, you compare with the one who got an A and you feel really low. Oh, mine is just a C, the person got an A, I can't reach an A. But your initial goal was to pass because you failed in the last paper. So pushing towards, I always tell them it is good to always self-improve, because life is a journey, but you need to look with whom you are having your competition, with whom you're trying to compete to become better. Is it yourself or someone else or society standard? This is what is going to determine your level of satisfaction and happiness in the journey of life. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Saiful, and also Ms. Sharon. Yeah, just want to ask something. Like, say for example, right, some people were like saying like, I'm already doing this. I'm already doing this so much. I already like pursue this until the end, but I'm not happy. I still not satisfied. I'm not satisfied with results and everything. So what is your response to that?
Okay. That's happened to me. Make it simple lah, because I'm already old actually. What gray hair already kan? That's happened to me. I was there. I was one of the few people that high drive, high achiever, going up to become, already achieve millions in my 20s. So when I come to that point, I still do not satisfied with what I have because I want more. 2 million in the account is not enough. I need 5. One house is not enough. I need 2. One car is not enough. I need 3. It's all coming back after doing that. And then you still do not feel yourself as successful or satisfied when you're successful. This is where I learned my lesson. The real lesson here is not about what do you have. What do you have? The real lesson, a real success is what can you give? What can you give to others? Because the real wealth is not what you have in your account, but how much can you give to others? When you switch your mindset like that, you switch it all over there. It's not about you anymore. It's about others. Then you realize that it doesn't matter how much money do you have in your pocket. If you're seeing people still sad, then you start living yourself and say, you might want to do something. Because life is always there. We're talking about yourself. You as a human being, Ikhtifa as Ikhtifa, Sharon as Sharon, Saiful as Saiful, it won't be enough. Rasulullah SAW in Islam said, if anak Adam is, if a man given one mountain of gold, he will always want the second one. But if you give that mountain of gold to others, it will fill you up, to fill the gap. Because material is not really the thing that you want to go. I was there. I was up in the hill. I was down in the valley. Then I realized something. It's not about you. It's not about Saiful Ikram. Because Saiful Ikram, at the end of the day, from dust we come and from dust we go. We are nothing. But what we going to give to the society, give to others. And that will remain. And that is for me, the real satisfaction. Sharon?
I totally agree with that because I'm in a stage of my life where I'm really content with my life. Content enough. It's like, because, enough to pay all my bills, enough to go around, splurge around a little bit and still able to travel and things. So if I go towards greed, I know I will never be happy. So the thing is, I always tell them when you win this, say they're not happy, I'll ask them, what is it that you want, right? You go towards what you want, but at the same time, appreciate what you have. This is the problem most of the time. Most of the time, you're chasing after something without appreciating what you're having. Then life is going to feel unsatisfied. Life is going to feel like a void. Life is going to feel like I'm always missing something. I'm not good enough. Life is not good enough. Everything is messy and miserable. Okay, that's the pothole of like stepping into the mental health issue. It starts from this. So the only thing is that chase after dream. Go after what you want, but while doing that, be happy, have the gratitude for what you're having. For example, you want to, let's say, for example, some students, right? You want to study overseas, you didn't get the opportunity in master's. Try to achieve that in your PhD, but be happy that you have a place to do your master's currently. Then you can still have satisfaction while chasing after another success. So you're piling success on success while you're able to enjoy each success like you're climbing a ladder, enjoying every step of the ladder.
Yep.
That's why I said, go ahead, climb as much as you want, but do remember to take a break, inhale in, exhale out negativity and inhale in happiness at every step. Because, when we look back in life, what do you have? You cannot go rewind and correct anything. You can only, look back and see either feel good or feel bad. And I've had a lot of people coming to a counseling session, successful, wealth, fame, but feel like they wasted 20 years of their life. They never really lived their life,
True.
So, if really fame, money, and looks is really good, then we will not have any suicidal cases among celebrities.
Yeah, I like to add to that, Sharon. It's just like this. If you are in the student, make it very simple. I'm a student before. Yeah, we were a student before in university.
Yeah.
Let's say You want to have your degree, then you want to go to your master, and you suddenly cannot go overseas on that. Don't worry, get as many girlfriend as possible, because that's also an achievement. By having 13 girlfriend and my during college time, I managed to find the right one. So I got married, unlike 𝐻𝐻𝐻𝐻, still alone. Back to 𝐻𝐻𝐻𝐻𝐻.
Thank you, Simon, for reminding me that I'm alone. All right, just like if the thing is right, success has been back in the head. Everyone wants to be successful, but sometimes people would like to step on others just to be successful. What do you think about that?
You see, there is a thing about
others to as a stepping stone. Yeah.
Because I would say they don't have enough moral grounds or something lacks in either religious grounds or moral grounds, you know, because at the end of the day, you're looking yourself in the mirror. If you can really feel yourself proud after stepping on people and finding that success, I'm not sure what they're looking at themselves. All right. Again, if someone is crazed after success and they cannot feel satisfied, then you're looking at someone who is hungry without food and no money to buy it, and a shop is having cakes. They will go and rob it there. You get the thing? In famine, people can rob for food because they're desperate. So if people is craving to feel happy, a lot of them say, I will be happy when I have X salary. I would be happy if I have this many kids. I would be happy. So if they keep putting that, they can't feel the happiness, then they become hungry for it. They are like famine situation, you know, and then they're willing to do anything and everything just to get a glass of water. And for here is a bit of a success. So yes, they can step on people or whatever to do because they are in that kind of an animalistic drive towards success. It's what makes us different between being human and not, you know, non-human. Okay.
This come to the problem. Sometimes people, these are normal office politics. Come out, they step others in order to rise because their aim or their success is everything. They want to be on top. They regardless what going to happen to them, they want to be on top. I would say something like this for those kind of people. Yes, you'll be successful. You'll be on number one, but not for long, because that's happened a lot of time. And office politics coming up number one by stabbing others. Actually, that's an easy way to win. That's a very easy way to win. And the satisfaction is not there. You will have to go and keep on stabbing people to go up. And you always keep looking at your back for anybody else want to stab you, because you stab people, people will stab you back. So my advice to others, don't do that. Be on your own merit. By having your merit, people might want to belittle everything to you, maybe a bit slow on the success, but when you get it, you will get it very happily, the full satisfaction on that part.
Right. Thank you.
I'd like to add a little bit only, because normally when we see, like I've dealt with cancer patients at the end of their lives, right? Or patients at the end of their lives. So with them, what happens is that normally they will look back and they say they don't have enough time to repent. So when it comes to the point that life is ending and they need to go and meet the maker, that's when you see how much of the success they really had in their life, you know, whether they're being fearful or they're able to close the eyes with a smile. Some of them, they say like, okay, this is the end of the time, but I'm still feeling happy that I'm able to go and see the maker. And some will be, I'm so scared, I didn't have enough time to repent. So the difference comes in when you're at the end of your life, because journey in this life is temporary as well. So for now, focus on yourself, not so much of what someone else is doing, someone else is stepping on you or something. Focus on yourself, on your own happiness, and you will be on the right path in being satisfied with your own success.
All right. Thank you for your opinions. For now, I'd like to open the floor for the members of the floor to ask questions to our panelists. So can I have anyone to ask any questions that they want to know, or any topics that they want to know more?
Okay, I have a question here. Someone asked me from Daryl. Sharon, why did they feel they wasted 20 years of their life? All right. This is one of cancer patients, actually, not one, a few of them. It's because they worked. You know, sometimes you just want to accumulate wealth. You keep working while you're not giving enough time for your family members and children. Okay. And then when they come back, they just realize all they did throughout their life, because sometimes, you know, you get cancer and thing at the age of 40 something. You know, so not really if retired, right? So they feel that they've never really lived their life. They're waiting to retire to live their life. And then they realize that, they have not really spent much time with their loved ones. So that's when people look back and feel they've wasted years, because then they realize what they were just, they were either working away their life, or they were like, doing it on something which ends up as not being meaningful. So yeah, that's the answer for Daryl's question.
Yep. True.
So is there any questions from the floor or from the Zoom audience?
I have a question.
Yes,
Okay.
Minka.
Yes, Minka.
Just my personal feeling. Sometimes I feel like the success comes from failing of other people. Not in that way, as if you are more capable than others, indirectly meaning that others are more incapable than you. Sometimes I feel, I don't know, satisfied. I don't know if this is healthy or not. No, it's just opinions are, because there are people who success. Of course, there are people who fail. I don't know if it's a healthy feeling. Like I just
that is normal feeling, Minkang. That's normal. People are being successful because sometimes when you're competing with others, when you put yourself with others, okay, let's say right now I run a race. I run a race with Sharon, with Iktifa. Then I managed to beat them and become number one. Of course, the satisfaction is there. It's normal for human being to feel like that. But at the same time, Sharon can say, well, I'm racing with a man. It's already a success in that way for her. For Iktifa, I just let them win. They are my panelists, 𝐾𝐜𝐡𝐢𝐞𝐬𝐬. That's also a success for him. So it's up to them. It's normal. You feel like that, or you're sometimes feeling down, then got one. Of course, there's always, when we're talking about competition, there's always a winner, there's a loser. But the real loser actually in those cases is whether you can accept the situation or not. If you cannot accept the situation, you are the loser. Either you're a winner or a loser. That's my answer, Sharon.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether this is going to be relatable, but I like to touch something that happens in our Asian households. When you are kids and going to school and our childhood, they'll always like to compare us with our siblings or cousins. It's like, who have got the least number of A's. So entirely, like, I hope that person did not get higher than me so that I get the highest. So sometimes these kind of things comes in because of this. So it's not so much, but certain kind of in our childhood upbringing, our Asian culture have this. All right. So it's normal, because if one person is getting in the first prize, the rest are not in the first prize. One person is winning the race, the rest are failing. It doesn't really matter. But what matters here is whether you're looking at yourself being successful or being happy because the others have failed. It makes a huge difference. If you're running on a race with two other friends and you're happy that two other friends did not get an A, but you got an A, that is completely different compared to you are being happy that you got an A. So we have to always evaluate that to see where we are standing, because if you're genuinely feeling happy with somebody's failure, then you may end up as a person who can step on others for your success.
Yeah. And then Minka,
sometimes it's from our childhood things,
Minka, when that happens, you have to see Sharon, because you are signs of psychotic, very dangerous.
So there's one question says that Jasmine, do you want to voice out your question or your opinion?
Jasmine, personally, success is a zero-sum game just because you're okay. Okay. I personally don't think success is a zero-sum game. Just because you are not successful doesn't mean you are not good in position of failure. So it's stated again, success is subjective per se. Yes, I agree. Yes, I agree. Success is at for example, today I managed to cook sambal ikan. For me, it's a success, although the taste is awful, because that's the first time I'm doing it and managed to not burning it. And of course, that is one way to do it. Thinking about it. If you are thinking you are not accepting, you are not good enough and willing to try to another part, it's still a failure. So you might not want to try again. But you say, manage to do the first step, then it's up for people. You have to accept what's going on. Then you can really not severe lah, taking all this the happiness there.
Okay, I would like to add in here. See, sometimes reality is what we feed our mind. Our perception can become our own individual reality. All right, that's a topic for another day. I'm not going to go in detail. But in our daily, day-to-day life, every single thing we do, we can actually choose to label things as successful or a failure. When we start labeling things as this is not successful, that's where it's going to start hurting. Why are we counting on things that's not successful? And again, if you do not, experiments when we do, right? Every time an experiment fails, it's actually giving us knowledge how to improve it and become better. So I don't believe in anything actually being a failure. It's either it is giving you a second chance to try it even better, to improve something, and if you really want to have a failure, repeat something 3 times and fail it 3 times. At least you have a significant failure,
Confirmation of failure.
Repeat 3 times with the same circumstances, So it all comes in our mind. If you're linking it as this is being not successful, then that is what you're feeding your mind, that you're a failure or something is just made a failure. If you just feel like, oh, this is my chance for me to try it again and I'm going to do it better, you will be doing better. So be careful what you feed your mind, because whatever you feed your mind is going to be a thought in the late night and you're going to wake up with that.
A bit of add up in that. This is my humble opinion. How do you look at the world is a reflection of yourself. If you look at the world at a good way, nampak semua cantik-cantik, actually it's a reflection of yourself. You are good. But if you look at the world with everybody got problem, this one not good everything. Actually, it's a reflection on yourself. So be mindful looking at the world, and those things will come back and hunt you back in your feeling, and that will create that. Alamak, dah merah lah. Okay, Tifa.
All right. So thank you very much for our panelists, both to Ms. Sharon and Mr. Saiful, for being a part of our forum tonight. I hope that the audience would learn something and take back home a few of the golden nuggets that they have shared. And yes, and what I want to say is success is up to you guys. If you think that success leads to be satisfied, then go all out for it. If not, can meet Sharon or can talk more to Saiful later. All right, that's all for me tonight. Back to our Toastmasters of the evening, 𝐸𝐤.
Thank you, Itifa, Sharon, and Saiful for the wonderful panel sessions. I was jotting down notes just now about the points of being success. I myself also not being sure what success is all about. After all, doing research is like walking in the wilderness, to be fair. Anyway, now we shall proceed to the evaluation section. And I would like to pass the floor to Chloe. Chloe, is Chloe up here on the stage? She is going to be sharing the evaluation session. Back to you, Chloe.
Voting for best speaker first.
I will do the voting. Okay. So guys, you can go to this website called Slido, sli.do/336 to vote for your best speaker. Again, sli.do/336, that's our meeting number, and vote for your best speaker. I think 𝐸𝐤, you may continue.
Yeah, while you are casting your votes, let's continue again. Good evening, everyone. Is here again, Chloe. So I noticed that there are a few non-Toastmasters guests here. Hey guys, so now we have come to evaluation section. Have you noticed that in this room and on the screen, there's no lecturer, no coach, no 𝐶𝐴𝐿. Then how do we learn as Toastmasters? How do we improve our public speaking at this platform? Just now when the speakers were presenting, there were members silently taking notes, and I shall call them to give feedback what the members, the speakers have done well, and area of improvement for them to do better for coming meetings. So this is how we learn in Toastmasters. And in Toastmasters, we believe in our tagline, friends helping friends succeed. So there's no lecturer, no master, no Jacob, but members helping members. Am I right? Yes, thank you. So now I would like to call upon the first evaluator to evaluate the first speaker, Daryl, and our evaluator, Toastmaster Kenneth. Thank you.
You nervous. One word. Naked. Okay. Not the yellow thing. Because I want to congratulate Daryl. You are naked today. As a beginner, you didn't come with a script. Everything is in your mind. That's why I'm saying you are naked without a script today. So congratulations. Without a script, outstanding and naked. Next thing, you portray a unique expression in your speech. How? Singing. It is unexpected. After all round of words, and suddenly you come up with a song. And this literally wakes me up from listening to all the long-winded words. The next part of your strength is your speech is well organized. You start up with your self-introduction about your own background, moving on to motivate the audience about self-improvement, and finally, you talk about a few fun facts of yourself. Next is your gestures. When you want to indicate first, second, you point one, first, two, second. And when you want to indicate your prior experiences, you point to the back. And this is the prior me. And when you want to indicate that you yourself, for example, in one of your sentences, wait my friends to come to me. You point your hand onwards to yourself. Now, Daryl, maybe you can experiment with something that I've tried before, which immensely improved my speech. Start with engagement and with impact. In your introduction, you can ask the audience, what is your first impression about NRC? Ask the audience to give you response. And end with a strong quote to motivate others about continuous self-improvement. Final words. Daryl, in your next speech, I challenge you to speak louder and with full confidence, like what I'm doing now. And use a smile to resonate with us. Thank you.
Wow, I thought Kenneth's evaluation is very motivating, with high energy, and I really love it very much. Just now when he came out, I heard something. I'm very conjured, but I didn't sense that. If you think he has done very well, please give him a big round of applause. Let's invite the evaluators for the second speaker, Joshua's speech, who is distinguished Toastmaster Razi. Norman. Oh, sorry, my mistake. It will be Toastmaster Norman, Visionary Communication, level 5. Over to you.
Thank you. Can you guys hear me? Okay. First and foremost, congratulations, Joshua, for delivering your speech. I believe this is a very good, informative speech that everybody benefits from. In this evaluation, I want to share 3 things that I like about your speech, as well as 2 takeaways for you to further improve your speech. Number 1, I like the fact that you uses your voice in a very good and effective way. You sounded very calm and you projected your voice confidently while being clear and loud, as well as you uses vocal variety to differentiate you and your grandmother. That's very effective to me. And number 2, the fact that you associate your story, your personal story, throughout the content of your speech, it helps us drawn to your speech, to the fact that we wanted to hear more and know more what comes next, and we can always see the flow of your speech. It is a very factual presentation, but by using story, you connect with us and you make it simplified for us to understand. And the third thing that I like is the slides itself. I can see that you're using it without being so dependent on it. And that is very effectively done. The organization of the slides is also very clean and simple, and it really helps when you describe all the definitions, as well as you use your personal story to explain the subject of the speech. And now, 2 takeaways for your speech improvement. Number 1, the fact that this speech is research and presenting. It is a good ethics to just state the source and references of your content, so people can do cross-check or maybe do further research. But yeah, it's a good ethic, although people can always Google about everything in the world, right? That's number 1. And number 2, engagement with the rest of the online people. It's very hard when you are using, in a hybrid meeting, you have people in front of you in the physical meeting, but it's just once in a while, take a look at the camera, so people like me being online can feel engaged too. In conclusion, I think you have achieved the objective of your speech, and definitely, personally, my opinion, I felt smarter already with all the terms, dementia, hemiplegia, and I take the time to find that there are also a few more types of plegias that is also not covered in the speech, but that's very good. And I think, congratulations, and I wish I could hear more from you in your next speech. Thank you very much. Over to you.
Cleo,
Hear you?
No, Cleo doing sign language.
How can you do that? Show the source of all the information, and the most important thing, you quote it, so I know you don't simply talk only. Even I want to know more, there's a link, I can study more. Overall, thank you for your feedback. Now I shall move on to the evaluators for our last speaker. Wow, who has done for 40 minutes and how much again, Amar?
40 minutes and 38 seconds.
Wow, 40 minutes and 38 seconds. So do you want to know how well he has done or what's the area of improvement? Now I would like to invite distinguished Toastmaster Razi to give the feedback. Over to you.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator Toastmaster Chloe. Congratulations to 𝐸𝐴𝐻 for completing this project. It requires a lot of effort. It requires a lot of rehearsal perhaps, and of course to come up with the questions, and not to forget for completing it for 40 minutes and 38 seconds. Well, you exceeded by 8 seconds there. Anyway, well done. And here are the things that you excel at. You excel at asking thought-provoking questions. And I find that it's not an easy thing to answer the questions. The question is well thought of. Things like, should you be happy when you're successful or when you are satisfied? How to promote people to go far and beyond, and people would like to step on others to be successful. And this sounds more like a table topics question to me. And it's not very specific. It sounds very generic, and I like it a lot. At the same time, I like the introduction that you have for the speakers, for the panelists, of which we know a little bit about the speaker, where she's from, and where he is from as well. I'm talking about Toastmaster Saiful, and the summary of your on the takeaways, whereby you, at the end of it, you mentioned that when it comes to success, it is up to you to define it based on what the panelists has mentioned. Secondly, these are the things that I would like you to work on. First and foremost, when it comes to the topics, again, as I mentioned to you, the topics sound very generic, very general. It's about success. And perhaps my suggestion for you is for you to consider something that is more relatable to the audience, about Toastmasters perhaps, about being in campus, about studying, of which the panelists can tap into their experience instead of giving us wishy-washy kind of definition theory. They can share with us about their experience. If you were to talk about Toastmasters, their experience of being a Toastmaster. If you talk about life in campus, their experience of living in campus, how they struggle and how they made it eventually graduate in their studies. So that's the thing that I would like you to work on, to look into the topic that you would like to cover that's more relatable to everyone. When it comes to the challenge, I would like to challenge you. In fact, this is rather, when I look at the audience, when I look at three of you, the two panelists, they remove their masks. But somehow I noticed that you don't remove your mask. And with that, it's like you are masking behind that. And if you think that you are working, hence you're not, you don't have the right place for you to do this, perhaps you can find a meeting room. Already you can find the time. Perhaps you can find a place where it is safe for you to remove your mask so that people can see you, because at the same time you sound very nervous there and you are masking it. And then if without it, and we can see you in full, and then we can appreciate you more. So those are the things that I would like you, that I find that you excel at your thought-provoking question, the opening as well as the closing. I would like you to work on the topics. Then last but not least, I would like to challenge you to remove your mask so that people can see you in person. With that, back to you, General Evaluator.
Master Razi, yeah, Distinguished Toastmaster Razi is always helpful. When I organized the areas contest, he was the chief judge, and he really taught me a lot of things, and he was very friendly and helpful. Then today you can observe, he gave his evaluation with smiles all the time. Do you feel that?
Yes.
Yes. And then what I particularly like about his speech is, at the end, he did make a summarize his evaluation again. He mentioned what he already shared earlier, so that the speaker can, oh yeah, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, remember that. So now we have already heard the evaluations from the 3 evaluators. Everyone, have you learned anything?
Yes.
Yes. If you really learn something from the evaluators, please give them a big round of applause. Okay, so may I invite Toastmaster Amma to give the timing report, please. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Madam General Evaluator. Good evening, everyone. So I would like to share with you my reports for the timeline report. Right, so I'd like to share my timeline report for evaluators only. So we start off with the first evaluator, Toastmaster Kenneth. You took your, every evaluators are allocated to 2 to 3 minutes. So for the first evaluator, Toastmaster Kenneth, you took 2 minutes and 44 seconds, right on time. Then the next evaluator, Toastmaster Norman, you are slightly over time, which is by 2 seconds. You took 3 minutes and 32 seconds. And lastly, distinguished Toastmaster Razi, you went ahead of time, which is 3 minutes and 56 seconds. That's all for me. Yes, correct. That's all for the time report for evaluation. So for me, thank you.
Wow, you need to give the feedback, give a constructive evaluation. Need to speak within the time, within 2 to 3 minutes. So, President, can we proceed to the voting?
Yes, all eligible.
Yeah, all eligible for the voting. So I have our multitasking president and also a Zoom master to share
The vote.
the vote.
And go to the same website to vote for your best evaluator. The same website as Slido/336 sli.do/336. Same website, just vote for the best evaluator. Thank you.
I know you have tough time to choose the best, right? Because everyone is the best also. Okay, now I shall move on to technical report. So the first one will have our grammarian of the day, Adil.
Okay, everyone. Grammar is an essential part that needs for us to improve our own speech. So from that, I would like to explain some of the terms. For me, it's a unique term that have been delivered by some of the speakers, such as human, when given a hill of gold, they want it more, but when they give to the other people, it will never ends. And the second, for me, a really useful word and really magic word for me is naked without a script. So next, I will just move forward to the grammar part, which is there are some particular technical error that needs to be improvised by all of the speakers and also for myself, such as was supposed should be was supposed, manage should be managed, his remembering turns should be memory, the she or he needs to be stick to one and cannot be used alternately. Much more easily should be much easily. Much more better should be much better. Ways, way, I. And that's all for the grammar report for today. Thank you.
Thank you. Of course, Toastmasters is not an English class, but why do we have the grammarian here? Because we have to learn from each other and enhance our vocabulary bank so that we can always have the good choice of words. Thank you for your report. Please give Toastmaster Audio a round of applause. Now, I would like to invite our 𝐴𝐼𝐴 for this meeting, Toastmaster 𝐒𝐮𝐜𝐴.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Now, please allow me to share my screen. Okay. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So now I'm going to show the counters report, which record all the members and guests postulants. For the first one, it will be 𝐸𝐴𝐿. 𝐸𝐴𝐿 don't have any postulants for today. Good job on that. 𝐸𝐵 5 2 5 and there is repeated words so. So total will be 15. Ādhyaputra and Amma, you guys did a great job today. I didn't notice any postulants. For Chloe, our general evaluator, there are 2 𝐿s. For Daryl Ryan Chong, there are 4 𝐿s, 2 𝐿s. There are repeated words so for 5 times. Joshua, 1 𝐿, and some repeated words like well and so, and also you know. For Activa, there's 1 𝐿, 1 𝐿, and was repeated 1 time. Sharon, there are 2 𝐿s, and you know was 6 counts for that. Saifu, there is 2 𝐿s, 4 𝐿s, and 2 ends. Kenneth, I didn't notice any postulants for him. Great job on that. Okay, so for the next person, it will be Norman. There is 2 𝐿s. Raji, there will be 4 𝐿s. So that is all for my 𝐴𝐿 report. Everyone did a great job for today. That's all for me.
Thank you, Toastmaster 𝐶𝐿. Do you think she has done a good job also?
Yeah.
So what should we do? Yes. And now I would like to invite again Toastmaster Amma for the timing report.
Hello again, everyone. Okay, so now I would like to give my complete timer report, excluding the evaluator's timer, which I already mentioned previously. So, as the agenda stated that we have to start our meeting at 8, we started 10 minutes late. We started at 8 and 10 minutes. So I'm going to go one by one on the agenda. So I am just mixing the SAA and resident opening, which is done by the same person, Toastmaster 𝐸𝐴𝐿. You took 4 minutes and 48 seconds, which is allocated for 10 minutes. And then next is the Toastmasters of the evening. Toastmasters UMTMC. Time allocated is 10 minutes. You took 12 minutes and 41 seconds. And then the next one is the icebreaker speaker, Toastmaster Daryl. Congratulations, by the way, on your first speech. You are allocated with 4 minutes and 4 to 6 minutes, and you took 4 minutes and 45 seconds. And then next is the project presenting and researching done by Toastmaster Joshua. You are allocated 5 to 7 minutes. You took 7 minutes and 53 seconds, which is slightly more over time. And lastly is the moderate a panel discussion project, which is done by Toastmasters 𝐸𝐴𝐿. You are allocated with 20 to 40 minutes. You took 40 minutes and 38 seconds ahead of time. And then next is the photo session. I apologize, I did not take time because I'm so excited to take pictures. Same goes to 𝐶𝐴 meeting. I'm very just excited to get a seat over there. And then again, the evaluators, I already covered it earlier. And lastly, I would like to call them as a tag team, which is timer, accountant, and grammarian. So the first one is grammarian. I'm not sure of the allocated time, but you took 2 minutes and 46 seconds. Good idea. Then next is our accountant, Toastmaster 𝐶𝐿. You took 1 minute and 39 seconds. And for a timer, I don't know because I didn't time myself. So that will be all for my timer report. Thank you very much.
So the technical role players, they really put a lot of effort because they need to be very attentive from very beginning until the end of the meeting. Again, please give them the super big round of applause. And now it's my turn to give my evaluation, general evaluation. Again, it's not judgment, just my personal opinion. So today's meeting, because of some role players are late, yeah, we know because of the traffic or the busy schedule, so we started our meeting late at 8:10. Am I right? Yes, 8:10. President, be careful. It's okay. Yeah, this is just our area of improvement. So I really appreciate the hard work from your president. So I think 2 days earlier, I have already received everything, all the information from him, very well organized, the message, including the GPS location. Just a gentle reminder, the GPS location only lead me to the entrance, and I need to look for all the way around. But thank you for giving me the chance to walk around your campus. So I might suggest that I know you're busy at the beginning for preparation, you might dedicate someone to pay attention to the call, or the best is if you can put a sign outside, because just now I was thinking, should I knock the door to enter or not? I heard the voice, but I'm not sure whether it's Toastmaster meeting. What if it's a lecturer meeting here? Oh no. So I hesitated outside also. And when I came in, my first impression, wow, young and handsome. So I really appreciate. Before the meeting started, I think earlier, most of the members were here already, and the information was well written on the board. So what I can suggest is, since all of you are here, but I noticed you are very busy with your individual work, perhaps you can have some networking, chat with each other. Since 2 hours we are here, focus on the learning and what's the purpose you spend the 2 hours here. Am I right? Yes. And you can show us the teamwork instead of the multitasking president working here and there. So I'm looking forward to see your teamwork in our next visit. Next week.
No.
No.
Exactly.
Okay. So the meeting was kickstarted by our president. I really like how he mentioned the house rules, especially about the mask. We always want to think, can I take off my mask on the seat here? So he made it very clear for us for the physical. We have the house rule for physical attendance and also the attendee on the Zoom. This is well done on you. So my suggestion to you will be, you can interact with the audience, the attendees here and also on Zoom, so that you can set the energy high, especially you want to grab their attention. Keep the attention away from your laptop, the screen, okay? But all the attention on you and at this meeting, bring them here. So this is my suggestion for the ASAA part. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the last meeting of this term, right? So everyone, you know, for one term, there are probably about 24 meetings. So our president has done 24 opening speeches and 24 closing address. Please give him a round of applause for his effort. So I really like how you share us how to achieve the external and also internal success. I do learn from your speeches, and we also appreciate your preparation for the speeches. And moving on, I would like to, yes, our grammarian. So for our grammarian, when he came out to introduce himself, I could feel that he was a bit nervous. But when he came out from the Grammarian Report just now, Did he work better?
Yeah.
Did he look more confident and relaxed?
Yeah.
He was here sharing with us what he thinks is the useful and magical phrases that he has learned, and he wants to apply it in his future speeches also. And he also covered the incorrect use of English and provide us the examples how to correct them. So for my suggestion for you to improve from this grammarian role, you might want to pay attention on the numbers of times the speakers use the word of the day achieve. This one, it can encourage the members to use the word of the day. And also, when just now is a good point, you point out the good phrases, the excellent use of language. Perhaps you can also mention who said that. When you acknowledge the speaker, they will be more motivated and inspired. Yes, I want to use more excellent phrases. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Well, anyway, well done, Toastmaster. I do. And next, wow, I didn't expect that physical 𝐴 also will have a slide. Yes, he was really well. She was very well prepared. She came out. The slide was ready already. Good job on that. And she really paid attention to every one of us, each speaker, and provide us a very comprehensive 𝐴 report. By the way, 𝐴 report is not to pick out your mistake. You say you say but it's a way for us to become the effective communicator. What do you think if I keep talking immediately you will switch your attention on your screen already, right? So thank you, 𝐒𝐮𝐭, for your attentive and comprehensive report for today. Thank you very much. Yes, our timer Toastmaster Ahmad. I really want to comment on this one. Just now, you know what happened? Timer configured, right?
No. She was just late.
She was just late. Okay, but he immediately volunteered himself to take up the timer role. Thank you. Important. Timer is very important role in the meeting because we need to need him to signal us the time. And what I can notice, Toastmaster Ahmad, he is forever ready. Yes, I can take the timer. He came out, also give a naked speech, timer speech, and introduce the speech. This is why. How could he do this? I believe that he has taken this role for more than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, right?
That's President.
Yes, practice makes perfect. So also congratulations to our president-elect.
Past president. Thanks, President.
Immediate past president. Oh, okay. So if you want to be like him, always ready, what to do?
Take more.
Practice, and practice. Don't come here for the computer. Come here to speak more, and speak more. So thank you, our timer, for keeping our. So that because of you here, we can keep the meeting running on time. And next, we have our 3 evaluators. So 3 of our evaluators are, I believe, they are very experienced already. I really like they mention what the strength and the area of improvement. Not only they told us what needs to be done, and also provide us the examples how to do that and why do we want to do that. And I especially love distinguished Toastmaster Razi also give us the summarize. He summarize again so to refresh what we need to do well. Thank you all the evaluators. And finally, who have I met up?
Can no.
Yeah, the 3 evaluators here. Yes, our first time Toastmaster of the evening. I didn't forget about you, Yu Ming. As the saying goes, save the best to the last, right? Okay, so everyone, what do you think about our first time Toastmaster of the evening?
Great.
Great or awesome?
Awesome.
Yeah, big round of applause for him also. The role for the first time. Yeah, you have covered you start with why you chose this team, and you also share the quote of the team. I like it very much. And later on, you share the history of Toastmaster. It's like it's different from others that very formal one, but he shared us the story, why and how Toastmaster was formed. After his presentation, do you know more about the founder of the Toastmasters? Yes. He even had the great side to tell us, the stories like that. Actually, my very first time to listen to this story. Thank you, 𝐸𝐤𝐢. And later, he also covered to tell us the flow of the meeting. He explained what is the prepared speech and also what is the evaluation section. So for the area of improvement, I would suggest that 𝐸𝐤𝐢, although I understand that today because of we have this 40 minutes section, so we take away the typical topic section. But for the benefit of guests, you might want to inform us to tell us how the regular meeting is. To introduce the table topics, prepare speech, and also evaluation. And then you just say, we take out this section because of we have something wonderful coming in. Okay. This is for the benefit of guests. Also, I would suggest that if there are some changes in the agenda, you might want to announce it so that everyone is noticed. Like just now, the timer was not well introduced. Like I look at the agenda, 𝐚𝐽 is the grammarian again. So that if there are some changes, I would suggest that you change it so that we get aligned, we understand it. So, but all in all, I think you have done well for your first time Toastmaster. So 𝐸𝐤𝐢, will you take the next time?
Yes.
Definitely. This third time, yeah, I have to.
Yes.
Yes, I encourage you until you are always ready. Good. Yes. So that is all from me. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank Chloe for being a general evaluator for this meeting, and I really value her feedback. I hope all the members here will find her feedback on this meeting very, very useful. That includes the evaluators and the speakers too. The next session will be the awards section. So the first award will be given to the best speaker for today's meeting. So drum roll, please. Drum roll, please. The winner for the best speaker for today's meeting is Daryl Ryan Chong.
Congrats.
Come on lah, virtual lah. Physical pun bagi virtual punya tu lah. Ayo.
University student. All right.
The next award will be the best evaluator for today's meeting. Now the drum roll, please. The best evaluator for today's meeting is Razzie.
Yay.
Razzie.
Oh, dah balik lah.
Razzie, I think we just have to show the screen.
Okay, I'll present to him later on.
Okay. Congratulations, Ratzi, distinguished Toastmasters, and of course, thank you for coming to evaluate 𝐸𝐸𝐹A's speech. And of course, apart from the awards giving section, we also like to present our appreciation to those Toastmasters who are the Toastmasters from other clubs who make an effort to attend to our meeting. So the first and foremost will be Adil Putra from Uni Razak Toastmaster Club.
Yay!
Who's willing to take a role as a grammarian for today's meeting. The next will be Chloe Lau, PM3, Presentation Mastery Level 3, right? She's from Master Jaya's Toastmaster Club, and she's willing to become our general evaluator for today's meeting. Thank you so much, Chloe. Next, I'd like to thank Norman, Visionary Communicator 5, which is also the District 51 Area W2 Director-elect. Thanks for coming to evaluate Joshua's speech for today's meeting. Thank you so much for attending.
Welcome. My pleasure.
And lastly, of course, not lastly, I think I have one more to go. And I'd like to thank distinguished Toastmaster Ratzi, who is a current Division Director for District 51 Division W. Thank you so much, Ratzi, for distinguished Toastmaster for evaluating 𝐸𝐸𝐹A's panel session. Thank you so much. I think, okay. And lastly, I'd like to thank the fellow panelists, and one of whom is actually a Toastmaster, which is Saiful Ikram Selamat. Thanks for joining us today. It's nice to meet you. This is the first time knowing you.
Never mind, it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not handsome, so okay.
It's all right. Anyways, thank you all for coming. So I like to conclude. My role as a Toastmaster for evening for today. I presented awards and shared my appreciation to those who attended to take a role in this meeting. Back to you, President of the Toastmaster Club, 𝐴𝐸𝐸𝐿.
First of all, apologize for keeping that. This meeting is late for 15 minutes. Apologize for that. I hope you guys don't mind. Second, again, thanks everyone from Uni Razak and other clubs for helping me have this meeting. Third of all, for all guests and Toastmasters, I hope that you will not just come here, clap for people, and go back with nothing. I hope you still come here, still clap, and you go back with something. Things we learn in panel discussions, things we learn in Joshua about dementia, things we learned from Daryl about his dream to MIT, remind us about we have to have a dream again and again. So before I call this meeting adjourned, I would just like to call two guests to give us the feedback. First of all, guest for physical setting, may I know your name?
Oh, they call me Anthony.
Anthony, would you like to give us some feedback? A few words?
Hey, sorry, who won?
You don't win lah, 𝐸𝐸𝐹A.
Oh, we don't win now.
It's Daryl as well as Ratzi.
All right, let's give the guests feedback session. Thank you.
Okay, so hello everyone here. My name is Anthony, and I'd like to thank you, 𝐶𝐿 for inviting me over here. I think I get a lot today. You know, to see somebody else to give speeches and whatever it is, learn a lot of things from their speeches and learn their courage to come on the stage and speak. It takes a lot of courage, yeah. And that's all from me. Thank you so much.
All right. And I'd like to invite Sun Ying to give us a feedback.
Hello everyone, my name is Sun Ying, and actually I'm from Sabtu Hati Toastmaster Club. I've been the club I've been to Toastmaster Club a long time before, so I know Sean's and also 𝐾. I enjoy myself for today's meeting, and I really enjoy the panelist sessions, and you guys have run a very smooth hybrid meeting. Our club also having hybrid meeting, and yeah, I enjoy myself very well. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you so much. Last, we haven't heard from this person. 𝐿𝐤, right? Yeah. 𝐿𝐤 from 𝐿𝐤 Club. So please give us some feedback.
Good evening, everybody, online and also physical. My name is 𝐿𝐤. I'm from 𝐿𝐤 Toastmasters Club and also from 𝐀𝐜𝐡𝐢𝐴 Mandarin Toastmasters Club. So basically, I'm a member of two clubs, and I used to be coming to Toastmasters Club, not to say frequent, but maybe 3-4 times a year. 3 years ago, before the MCO, and I'm glad to be back over here. And I can see that the students here have been achieving greater and greater success in delivering better and better speeches. And I hope to come back more in the future, and I look forward to more meetings here. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you. I will now call this meeting adjourned. Thank you so much. See you guys next time.
Thank you. Have a good rest.
Exam. So it will be on Monday evening, week 17. See you guys. Table topic is coming back, and please come again. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye.
Hey,
Bye.
Chloe. Where's Chloe? Hey, Chloe. I think I will come into your club meeting. Master Zaya.
We are going to have hybrid. You want to come on physical?
Should be because asking me for GE. I don't know whether I'm going to go physical or not. Most probably physical.
Go.
Yeah. I think I'll go physical. Master, you are in Balakong, isn't it, Master Jaya? Okay lah. See, I tengok macam mana rasa boleh sampai kot. Because I got the invitation, I just don't finish up the update lagi lah. Tak tahu.
Start 7:45 lah.
Yeah.
7:45.
Okay, no problem. All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. I think I'll be there. Physical. All right. Thank you. Bye. Ya, Danish, dah biasa jadi GE lah. Pusing-pusing semua baru dipanggil jadi GE. Nasib baik tak sampai Melaka.
Never mind, Saiful, when the time comes, I'll invite you as well.
Okay. For physical, we going first. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Okay. All right. So, okay, see you. Bye bye.